Hello guys, welcome to this new series of Don't Starve Together. So without any further ado, let's get started. By the way guys, I'm no insanely good in this game, but I thought why don't I just record it. So let's go. I'm actually gonna play as Woody. As a matter of fact, I have actually never played as this character. But as a matter of fact, I want to point out that I used to be an OG, not like a player, but I knew this game since like the beginnings. And I actually wanted to point out that Woody got reworked like, he got reworked like once. And he got also a skill tree, but that doesn't really matter. Just if you don't know this game, it's just like, how do I describe it? It's sort of like a Minecraft, but in 2D, but also with, how to put it, with a glimpse of a mystery. Let's put it this way. It's much more dark than Minecraft. And I don't mean by the brightness or anything, but lore-wise, let's put it this way. So I actually wanted to give it a couple of minutes, like 10 or 15 or maybe 20 minutes. And the first days are like really easy. You just gather things like you would in a Minecraft. Oh my gosh, that butterfly dodges. We got some mods. By the way, I have no idea why I just, created an axe, because I got one as a Woody. That actually says a lot, because, that actually says that I haven't played this game at all. So yeah, we got butterfly wings. They actually heal us, which is, they are really good healing item when it comes to early games. So yeah, we're gonna collect as much butterfly wings as possible. Anyways, cutting wood is really good with Woody. That's cool. So apparently we can create or we can craft some things in the Woody tab, because every single survivor has its own, has their own crafting tab. Not every single one, but most of them. And we can actually create some things. And actually, if you guys don't know, there's a skill tree in this game. But as I said, I haven't played this character at all. So I actually need to play this game. I actually need to give him some hours in order to, acquire some skill points. And that way we can actually, do something with him. Let's continue. Thanks. Let's jump down these trees. Cool. I actually don't need those pine cones, but how about we just carry them? Come here. Oh my gosh. So I feel like we are good to go. By the way, the first objective here in this game is to get gold, because that way we can actually create a science machine, which would be something like a crafting table. I'm comparing it to Minecraft because Minecraft is much more popular than this game. Even though this game is pretty cool itself. It's a lovely game, and actually it's much harder than Minecraft. If you actually want to try it out, be aware that you're gonna be dying a lot. Alright, so we see stones. So yeah, this one is a golden stone. You can see by these, gold crevices. So how about we just create a pickaxe and let's just mine it. Alright, so this right here is the gold. You could actually tell. So the first thing which I would like to do is science machine. Let's build it. And the first thing I would like to do is to actually create backpack, so that this way our inventory gets expanded. And what else can we actually craft? Because a shovel would be cool. That's probably it from the... Oh my gosh. By the way, I'm auto pausing because the time here is really, it's key actually. The time is a key actually here in this game, because even a slight second can determine your life. It's not like in Minecraft, I promise. It would be cool to actually refine this wood, so we can actually chop some more. By the way, that squeaking, it's that axe talking. I know, yeah, I know. There are talking axes. Yeah, so I would actually like to mine mine some rocks, because Then I would like to break that science machine to get that gold back. But we need some stones in order to get hammer. So yeah, there are different types of stones. These are called rocks and these are called flints for some reason. And by the way, there's a a limited area of map, but we actually haven't got that discovered. So the first days here in this game are more focused on just exploring the map and doing this kind of stuff. So thanks. By the way, I feel like by hammering it, you don't get 100% of everything you put into that. So you should actually think about doing these things, or I mean building all those things. This is a cemetery. You can tell by the mysterious fog, and actually, a gold is really prevalent here. You can actually, if I grab my shovel and if I dig, you can actually find some things. Some things are valuable, some things are not, but you can actually then trade those things with a pig king. And we actually haven't found him, so I actually kind of look forward to find him. Let's just jump into that wormhole. It works like you get teleported to another place of the map, and that was actually pretty long leap. There are a couple of wormholes here in this world. Probably, on average, there are like 4 or 5 wormholes. So the primary objective would be, how about we just eat? So the primary objective would be, discovering the map, and after we discover some portion of the map, we can actually then decide where to base. Because, having a base in this game is kind of important for most of the characters. Alright, so the night comes, and the thing about Don't Starve here is that when it comes to night, if you are being let alone in the darkness, you actually get killed by the mysterious entity. So, but cool thing about night is that we can light some things on a fire, and a charcoal is really important in this game, so we can both get the charcoal and also survive the night. So yeah, lighting trees on fire is really good from the beginning of the game, but make sure to not burn down the whole forest, because that wouldn't be cool. Then you would have no actual wood to I mean, you actually would have some wood, but it's kind of shame to do that. So let's just get this. Oh my gosh, I already know this axe is gonna piss me off, because that squeaking is really annoying, I have to say. Let's just wait till these trees burn down so we can get the charcoal. And charcoal is really good when it comes to crock pots, and they are basically the way we are actually gonna... Oh my gosh, we are actually overheating. Yeah, crock pots are there to cook things, obviously, as the name suggests. I don't really need that last charcoal. How about we just, go back to that wormhole? Because we are far away from spawn. Actually spawns are probably the centers of the map, most of the time. Oh my gosh, a frog. Oh my... Yeah, you can actually keep that axe, I didn't want it. If you actually get hit by the frog, you are, one thing from your inventory just, drops. Which is not cool, I hate these frogs. So, a gigantic beehive is over there. That's a bee queen, that's one of those bosses here in the Don't Starve. It's actually one of the... I don't want to say it's one of the hardest bosses, but that boss is pretty challenging, I have to say. So we get actually hit by that frog, so how about we just, So guys, if you didn't know, Woody is cursed. He actually is not a werewolf, but, if a full moon comes, he can transform into 3, animals. Which I'm not gonna tell which they are, because either you know it, or let yourself be surprised once that happens. This is actually an entrance to caves, and I would actually like to go there just to load it. By the way, loading here in this game, I hate it so much. Caves are one of those things which are really essential here in this game, but you know, it's really, I wouldn't advise going into the caves and rush them in the first like few days, because you basically don't have anything, and it would be really, you know, we are really likely to die. So let's just, you know, grab some of those things and let's just go away. We are gonna later use these light bulbs to fuel our miner hat. And you know, I'm actually going really ahead, but miner hat is used to, you know, as the name suggests, you're making a light for yourself. This loading, man, this is gonna kill me once. So yeah, let's proceed. Let's just, you know, where did we spawn? We actually spawned here, and we actually are here. So I would actually like to return, and then I would, yo, this biome is really intriguing because here are some rocks. And by the way, that bat came off that sinkhole. This is a moon rock, which, you know, it's really essential in the later parts of the game, but not really. But now not really, and I don't want to fill my inventory up, and these guys, I don't want to deal with them now. They're actually pretty strong if you ignore ignore them, or if you disrespect them, or I mean undervalue them. By the way, going on the roads makes you really faster. By the way, I mean, I'm saying it as I'm guessing. Yeah, going on the roads makes you faster. That's the tonality I wanted to put that into the sentence. And actually, there are two types of roads here in this game. This is just a path. It looks like a path. It doesn't look like a regular road. And then there's an actual road. Let's just kill this spider. By the way, these level 1 spiders can be actually stun locked, which, if you are fighting only against one, it's, really easy to deal with them. But once they, these nests, this is the only level 1 nest. And, they can actually get upgraded over time, which means they are gonna, they're gonna be home for much worse spiders than that. This axe has one of the worst damages I have ever seen. 13.6 only. I mean, it would be pretty overpowered if that Lucy, by the way, the axe is called Lucy, if Lucy was really OP, so I actually kind of get it, but where's our pickaxe? I have one of the most inventory managements. We actually don't have a pickaxe. It was actually broken. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, I don't know why am I, mining this gold, but yeah. By the way, some guys would actually, at this point, some guys would have killed at least 2 bosses, but I'm not that kind of guy. Actually, I'm really bad. So, let's equip our torch. And let's just light some things on fire. Let's light this on fire, let's light this on fire. That way we can have cooked birch nut as well. And in the meantime, how about we just mine another sinkhole and let's just, go there. I would advise, if you haven't played this game, just to mine these sinkholes and go there and then go back. Because that way you can actually preload all those, locations where you actually can enter these caves. And then it's gonna be, really helpful to find out the other parts of the caves. It's really weird to describe it like that, especially if you haven't played this. But, you can see we actually entered the first time with these entrance. So yeah, but we don't have enough of a gear or food to actually roam around these caves, so let's just go back and then we are gonna see what's gonna happen with it. In the meantime, we can collect the charcoal we just set on fire. I mean, we didn't set on fire the charcoal, but we set on fire the trees, and I hope they are already burned. By the way, I'm playing single player, so I feel like while it is loading, it's not actually, or maybe it is, I don't know. I actually want to say that maybe that the world is stopped while it is loading, but actually not. So let's collect these. Thanks. By the way, Lucy, shut up. I can't listen to you. By the way, guys, we are on the day 3 and we actually didn't get our skill point, which is super sad. By the way, this biome here is really popular when it comes to the location of a kick ping or pick king. I can't even speak. By the way, this is a clockwork. You get, you get some parts out of them to build some mechanical things like fridges and so on, but these do require some strength, and I don't actually have any weapons. So yeah, let's just continue. Oh, what is this biome all about? It looks like that rocky biome, but let's just have a look here. Yeah, I mean, pretty cool. It actually looks like this biome. Maybe, no, this is actually, separated, so I don't know. By the way, in one of these biomes, there are gonna be meteorites falling, like little meteorites, so yeah, I'm actually warning myself not to build a base here. Let's just, grab these because they are essentially free stuff. Oh my gosh, this biome is pretty big. Marble sculpture. Oh, so this is a set piece, which you guys actually know that, but this is a boss thingy. And, yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else to it because we are gonna fight these bosses way later in this playthrough. So how about we just, just discover the rest of the map. Let's just mine these things. I actually want to break my pickaxe because there was actually one lying, so let's just grab that after we destroy this one. This is a niter, which is, it's really helpful when it comes to summer, but we don't actually need this. And I would like to, clear some of my inventory space, so... Alright, so we broke our axe. So now we can, grab that axe which lies there. And guys, I would like to say that this is probably gonna be the end of this part, so if you guys enjoyed this and want to see the rest of this game, please leave a like, have a nice rest of the day, and see you tomorrow, so bye bye.